welcoming James Lodge from Dentsu and Dominic Adams to the stage from the Co-op.
Oh, sorry. Are we on? Morning, everybody. Thank you so. Oh, this is bright. Thank you so much for making the effort to come and hear us speak today. First time, obviously, MadFest up north, so hopefully you're enjoying it. I'm sure there's a few hungover faces in the audience. So we're here today to talk about the influence that gaming is having on Co-op's membership and its base. So we're just going to go into a little bit of a few facts about me. I used to be a massive console gamer before I had kids and got a little bit older. I was massively into Gears of War, if any of you remember that. I now just play on my mobile device. It's more convenient. I'm currently playing Clash Royale, for those of you that do or don't know that, and also Modern Strike. So I'm a little bit into combat and also strategy games. And I've spent 20 years in mobile with Dentsu.
Hello, thank you for coming to watch this presentation. I'm Dominic Adams. I've had 10 years experience in e-commerce and retail. I'm currently the senior digital marketer at Co-op. The game that I used to play, I'm probably not much of a gamer anymore, but it was Red Dead Redemption. That was almost a hybrid of Brokeback Mountain and Ultraviolence, so for me it was perfect. And as you can tell, I'm not very fun, so I didn't actually input a fun fact.
This is a slightly old presentation, so the fun fact was actually that Dom got to the final video interviews of the Traitors Series 2 last year, but it's not on there, but that's actually what happened. Dom, over to you.
Fabulous. And this would not be a gaming update without a game to start with, so you'll see an image here. And I need some audience participation. Does anyone know who these 13 gentlemen are? They did. Oh, well, hold that.
Corner.
They did find the Co-op. So these are our Rochdale pioneers. So you've unlocked the prize. The prize has been unlocked. Can anybody tell me when they founded the Co-op? I'll give you a clue. It was in between 1840 and 1850. 1844. That's probably not what you said, but you've won. Well done.
Well done.
So I will bring this limited edition Co-op hat to you. You can wear it at the next event, or they're selling for £25 on eBay. So yes, to get into our update today, I first of all just kind of wanted to represent the Co-op, our story, and our ambition with our membership scheme. So these are our Rochdale pioneers. They founded our Co-op in 1844. And basically their premise was that they wanted to give society access to basic needs and education in a time where kind of that basic right was being denied. And right now, into kind of more of a modernised membership, it's pretty much still our aim, principally. So what at the Co-op we aim to do is provide economic, societal and ownership value to our members. And basically by being a member, you get rewarded for that, but also your community gets rewarded for that. And by reward, we kind of mean that in the broadest sense. And what we're finding now is that not only membership is kind of the right thing to do, it's also the smart thing to do. So membership is driving our business at the moment, it's driving our profit and it's driving our revenue growth. So as marketeers, we have kind of a challenge, which I'm sure everyone in the audience does as well with their businesses and their brands, but it's ultimately how can we acquire and grow our membership base, and then how can we really milk our existing base and retain and trade. So a continuous thing that we are doing is looking to innovate in ways that we can engage and trade with our existing base. So last year we launched a series of games very much tied to more seasonal and promotional events, but these launched in our application. And what we actually found was that, to the words of Simon Cowell, our members didn't just like them, they absolutely loved them. It surpassed our engagement targets, it surpassed our revenue targets, and in terms of incremental profit, we were delivering much more than we expected from this. So it kind of made us think a little bit. Our member who we think we know, they're kind of 45 plus, they tend to skew towards female, tend to be more up north. They're really interacting with gaming, and that kind of changed our perception of who our member was, but also where we could potentially find our member and recruit new members. So probably handing very nicely over to James now. We've slightly changed who we think our member is. We know that they love gaming. We know that when they do game, they engage more with our brand and they're more likely to go on and become profitable. So what does that mean in the context of advertising, and what's the opportunity for us in that space?
Thanks, Dom. So yeah, this was kind of our initial thought. There's been so much emphasis put on the co-op and this identification that their membership group are receptive to gaming. We thought, well, what's the opportunity here? What can we look at? How can we identify a need and an opportunity to engage potential consumers and possible co-op members in gaming environments? So it kind of got us thinking, what does the landscape look like? Where can we go with this? Is there actually opportunity there or not? And actually, when we look at this, it's pretty massive. So in the last 5 years, we can see that from a revenue perspective and gamer growth, just in the UK, is increased almost 2x in the last 5 years. So not only is that more people are gaming in these devices and typically on mobile devices, but they're also spending more money as well. And this is kind of resonating as well when we look at some of the massive media brands that are really looking to and have moved into this space over the last few years as well. So a few stats for you. Clearly gaming has not gone unnoticed, but Netflix launched their gaming proposition back in 2021. They had 5.2 million downloads of games in the first year. Fast forward to 2024, they had 210 million downloads of games just on Netflix games alone. We've seen that Apple Arcade has also launched into this space and is now comparable to that of Nintendo's streaming service. So these are definitely places where massive brands such as Netflix, Apple, and also Disney taking a huge stake, a $1.5 billion stake in Epic Games, the games that make kind of Fortnite. They really want to start to take brands such as Star Wars and Pixar and Marvel and put them in and insert them into these spaces where they acknowledge that their audience is playing. So they kind of made us think, what's the appeal and suitability? We know that mobile has a massive appeal in this market, and the growth participation is really real for us. When we started to look at the type of data, as Dom has referenced as well, Zynga, who you may or may not be aware of, they make games like Farmville and Words with Friends. 66% of their user base are middle-aged females. So we're absolutely in that target market when we start to identify and acknowledge if gaming is the right space for us. So when we're thinking about gaming and is co-op in the right space, we're actually absolutely wanting to really power up in that space. But interestingly, this is a space where users are very much receptive and acknowledge that there's a trade-off here between in-app purchases, so you can purchase or make an in-app purchase to progress within the game, or you can watch an ad, and we call this rewarded video. So in exchange for lives, minutes, time, gems, cash, whatever it may be that you're trading for, you watch a video. We see massive completion rates as well, up to 97%. So this is in a familiar space for us to insert co-op into these environments. But the problem that we found is, and it's a really real problem, is perception. Our clients often say to us, gamers aren't our people, because the perception is this is a gamer. A gamer sits in a basement with a $6,000 water-cooled piece of hardware and a £500 chair, and they play for 5 or 6 hours a day on Call of Duty or whatever it may be, and they're drinking Red Bull. And the reality is that's not the case. The reality is we are all gamers. We're all doing something in games at one way, shape or form. Interestingly, mobile gaming is the second most accessed media behind that of music streaming. So this is absolutely a place where we should be. And it kind of got us thinking, we've done so much activity for co-op over the last 3 years promoting co-op membership. I wonder whether this is happening already. Are we already infiltrating these spaces, but we just don't have a strategy behind it? So we kind of looked at Google Ads, which is what we were using. And we were like, oh, actually, yes, we are. We're already in these spaces, but we're in these spaces with kind of traditional mobile banners and MPUs and that type of media, and it's not really resonating or having the impact that we want. We really want to align a strategy to the audience, to the game that we see the user is playing. And when we look at the device usage, it's quite prolific in terms of the different devices that people use. There's a big number here on the left-hand side. 79% of people are gaming on mobile devices, but clearly there's a cross-device proliferation between people that are gaming on mobile and PC and console. So people will game across all of these different devices, and it makes total sense that that will happen. Interestingly, in the next 5 years, gaming is predicted to increase from 1.1 billion now to 4.5 billion. So another tick for us, yeah, we're in the right space. Definitely there's growth within the UK. Dom's validated that that's exactly where their user base is, and they're engaging with these types of games as well. The other challenge that we have is this really points towards disproportionate investment within this gaming space. So if I'm going to show you on the left-hand side, we've got overall global users within TV, social and gaming, and the reach is massive, the opportunity is huge. But then if we look down here around attention and attention time, social and gaming is absolutely on a par. So the amount of people that are using social and using gaming, the attention that they're having within these environments is substantial. This is the problem. When it comes to the investment, it's disproportionate to where we see the attention when we're looking at these attention metrics and driving awareness and consideration. And we see almost nothing going into gaming, or certainly when we look at all of the data that we've just talked about and the statistics and the growth for the future, this just doesn't look right to me. So why is that? And I think the problem is social has been around for a long time, and we've defined our social strategies. We've understood we can have one-to-one conversations with people, we can identify audiences, their likes, their dislikes, their affiliations to different brands. But actually we don't have that in gaming, or we haven't until now. We haven't defined what our gaming framework and strategy should be, and more importantly, how does that fuse together with that of social as well. So then I kind of hit Dom with a load of stats, and I'm not going to go you through all of these, but he was eventually just went, listen, James, I get it, right? Gaming's a place that we should be. We're in. Let's do something and let's test it. So we did. We started looking at, with our partners, creating kind of quiz games initially and just putting them out there across every type of gaming media. So initially we started, as you can see on the left-hand side there, kind of quizzes to ask consumers questions about their likes, their dislikes, and then we would create a package of products that we believed would fit the suitable nature of that consumer. But then through the transparent DSP that we were using, we could really start to drill into the publishers, the types of games that those people were engaging with. So we shifted our focus and thought, okay, well, why don't we make our playable ads very much in situ and make them contextually relevant. So when people were playing these kind of word games, we made a word game whereby it would be in sync with what the consumer was playing before. Guess what? We saw CTRs increase by 55% because of the familiarity of people playing a game that was in a word environment and being served an ad which was playable within that same kind of word space as well. So you're probably thinking, yeah, James, I play games. Well, you might not be thinking that, but let's give you an example. We play games, but a lot of the times when I'm seeing those videos, I just put my phone down. I don't really pay attention. And then when it's finished playing, I'll look at it again. You might do that. But actually, now we're starting to use technology within the device, using the gyroscope, to measure engagement and unengagement. So if you have your phone in a vertical position, you're engaging with that content. If you suddenly put it down and look somewhere else until that 15, 30-second ad's played, we can see that you're unengaged. So actually, we can measure that a lot better when we're playing this performance statistics back to our clients, such as Co-op. So I've got a small video to play for you now. I think I've got a few minutes left. This is just everything that we ran and have been doing in our approach with Co-op over the last few years.
Fab. And just to quickly kind of end and conclude, hope that was super interesting. I think just to James's point, what we found at the co-op is that within our latest econometrics read, this type of advertising was the second most profitable after TV. So basically what me and the team are doing now is creating a really clear, with the guys at Dentsu, a really clear mobile and gaming advertising strategy. And I think if you're not taking this hat out of today's session, take the action to go question who your customer is and where they might be, and I think that will work very well for you, like it has done at the co-op.
Thanks, guys.